What
Oh,
is
wait,
that?
is Joe even in here? Maybe Joe's not in here, but I mean, we kind of have a format now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to go into it, or do you want me to?
No, go on.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you to another Aftertown breakout session with Catalyst Women. And our format that we have in this room every week is, we kind of share a little bit about what's going on, any new projects, any new ladies or anyone who wants to share what they have going on. And then we talk about a specific topic. Today, we have our very own Jo. She has prepared a little something for us. We're going to dive deep into considering a constitution. And it's something that has been talked around the watering hole in different circles. So we thought that we'd bring it here. And and then we'll just end it with any other leading in discussions that come from that, or any finishing thoughts, anything that you'd like to submit for maybe an idea to talk about in a future breakout. So with that said, and welcome everyone new. I see Jonathan's new on here. Oh, what is that?
I don't know.
No, I don't know what happened there. But and Len, I see Len Alexander. Cool. And there's Zach. I think Juliana, do you have access to? We need to.
There we go.
Yeah, Zach's been removed from the meeting.
Okay, good. We need to shut Zach down.
I don't have the control to this. Can I stop this?
Okay, that's very interesting. How does that work? How does somebody from the main room know that we have a troll in here if you don't have control?
It's a good question.
So I kicked him out.
Oh, Nori, you did?
No.
Okay, great. So it's because, you have some admin control over the meeting so that you were able to do that?
Yeah, there's a few of us co-hosts floating around, and we have the power
cool.
to moderate if
Man, that's
something.
That's something
Thank
to
you,
be proud of.
Nori.
Yeah, thank you, Nori. There needs to be one of you in every room, because what happens if there's a room that has no one and it's just overtaken by crazy guys?
Usually the host of the rooms are given co-host abilities just so they can record as well if they want.
Oh, cool. Maybe we'll have to, Juliana, if you don't know how to do that, we'll have to get a little teaching session.
Yeah.
Cool. Hi, Audrey.
Nori's the Terminator.
Yeah. Well, I know. So if you missed it, Audrey, so the format of this room, we talk a little bit about any new projects, anything that we want to speak to, and then we go into a deep dive topic, and then we end it with kind of any last thoughts or any suggestions for things to talk about in future breakouts. So we're very happy to see you. It's nice to meet you. Hi, Maria just jumped in. Marta's back. So I guess the first thing is, anybody have any projects or any proposals that they want to talk about or have questions on that are new to this room? Let's see.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Maria. How are you? I have not met you formally before, but I've heard a lot about you.
Seriously? Hello, guys. How are you? Just to say hi.
Hi. Thank you for joining.
It's great to be here. It's just I have been working lots of stuff around Cardano. I'm a stake operators and have all the different business, but I would like to make the time to be here more often. And thank you very much for the work you are doing, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Maria.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Do you have any proposals in Catalyst Fund 8 currently?
I don't have yet, just a draft, but I would like to go over the lobbying challenge. I got someone very experienced in knowing how the politics work in the capital. They're called in Brazil, and we are thinking about to put a proposal through this challenge, because it will be very interesting to start educating the people who do the legislation, who do the laws, or the people that start talking about with the politician. I think it's a good way to start educating and starting a conversation.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna We should also, Juliana, we should probably take a list of like any ladies who have proposals that they're talking about, just so that we have a list of who's got what out there, so that we can always refer back to them. We'll be looking forward to that, Maria. I'll be looking into that challenge, looking for your name out there.
Should I present myself, because there's a lot of people are here in the room that I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, right. So I'm here since 2020, around March 2020. I became an ambassador and start my journey in Cardano, and I put together a little bit of my didactics of teaching and teaching people about basic stuff, basic about the thing that I thought would be important to people someday, and it was wallets and all the basic knowledge about having ADAs in your wallet. And there, I got invited to be a stake pool operator with 2 other partners, that is Cards or Cardanistas. Today, I'm very proud to have 9,000 delegators. And the Sunday Swap, we are the 3rd most voted pool. And it's like our flag is educations, because gathers everybody around. Education's always hugged people and not excluding people, what I like to say. And what else? I'm an advisor for a few teams of NFTs, Little Goats and Cardano Warriors. And I love Catalyst. I was the first person to be in video talking about Catalyst and explain how it was amazing and how our dreams could become truth here in this system. That's it. That's me. And if you need any help, and if I could do anything good for you, just hit me out. All my social medias is Maria Carmo 369, and the 369 is my love for Tesla, because I love what he did for humanity.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that. And thank you for being such a pioneer in the process and in Cardano.
It was a long journey. I work a lot, but every single minute have been paid. Even in ADAs or even in happiness, because I was able to help so many people. It's amazing. People still sending me messages saying how it was amazing to be learning through Cardano, through my videos, and sometimes meet me. I met a lot of my friends in Brazil. I didn't have the dimension of the things I was doing. Only when I got to Cardano Summit in September. And now that I went to Brazil, was like amazing. People like, they really start learning and researching what Cardano is and what you're gonna do in the world. I have been invited for giving talk in many universities and many other people's channels. I never stop talking about Cardano.
That's amazing. So cool. We need to make more of you all over the world. Awesome. Cool.
We need more of us, all of us.
Yes.
All of us. We have different backgrounds. We have different type of viewing the life itself. Nori, love you. Doing a great job.
You know,
So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. My partner is slowly getting into the scene. She works at Microsoft, and she's not necessarily comfortable with crypto and the communities yet. But like she's kind of bridging that through like creating an NFT project. That it's just like, you know, that I think that's a good thing about kind of the JPEGs too, is the bridging of like, oh, that's easy, I could do that. But she has all the coding experience to do so much more. So it's interesting getting people involved. How have you guys kind of bridged that introduction to like slowly getting your friends and your partners involved in Cardano? Do they believe in the process, or I'm just kind of curious on
do you mean how I do that?
Yeah, how do you because it's easy to talk to people online that are like-minded, but like my partner is part of traditional tech, and she's starting to slowly get involved. Do you guys think it's like a creeping process? How do you do that, Maria? Yeah.
Like the way I did that, I just analyze all the information that was basic and start doing videos about this information. Actually, I start first translating documentation, basically Charles' interviews, because I love Charles, obviously. I'm a Cardano head. I started translating only Cardano Charles' interviews. And then I just asked, I didn't feel like writes to me, and then I asked to be a content creator. So I started doing videos about normal stuff and basic stuff about Cardano, but actually I mixed a little bit with tutorials, mixed a little bit of interviews. And then today I have a channel with 13,000 people, and the public is all over the world. It's called Maria Carmo 369. And is how I bring people in, and they got in contact with me. Most of them, loads of them, delegated to my pool because they like of the type of education we are doing. Also, I have a Cardenistas channel, and we do lives about Cardano every single Sunday. We start with 3 people, 3 partners, and today we reach sometimes 800 people in a Sunday for an hour.
That's amazing. Can you put some of your links in the chat here, Maria, so that Alexander, and then also Alexander, just another way to do that to help, onboard your partner is you're here, you're here, you join our group, and if you want to get into contact or you want to link us up, I know Marta and Angela, who are in this room, are very technically minded, and we're always looking to help any, we're trying to expand diversity, and especially with women. So if your partner is very into coding or very technical, like, we would love to connect with her. And then also on Twitter, I don't know if you guys are social media minded, but Twitter is where a lot of the communities communicate during the week. And so I'll put my Twitter handle in there too. And there's a Cardano Women's Forum. Juliana has a mentoring organization for women as well in this space. So I will put a link to a sheet I've made. It's a Catalyst sheet, but it has a couple of different links to all of these things I'm talking about. And then we are in the process of putting together like a resource hub, especially for women that they can go to. So we'll put all of our information in the chat, and I'll put that link to the document. But I also see Maria's hand up too. Go ahead, Maria.
No, I just would like to enjoy the opportunity to be here in the room. If there is any developer in Haskell, someone that's no Pluto, we are looking people to help us in Lovelace Academy. I'm also one of the founders of Lovelace Academy. That was an educational project that was funded back in Founder 2. So if you want to collaborate, please reach out to me as well. And I also looking for people who speaks other language to collaborate, because for me it's really important that Cardano get there for non-English speakers, as we have so many YouTubers and so many other people producing material in English. Nothing against that, it's beautiful. As much more people speaks and talk about it is good, but if we have more people in our own language, we could get a broader perspective of the entire world population.
Yeah, Carol, go ahead.
Say that again. Carl?
Carol, yes.
Carl, go ahead.
Okay, just make sure I'm unmuting myself because I always get that wrong. I've been involved in a number of organizations where I've kind of launched them for female empowerment and inclusion and to get ladies to be able to feel confident to enter into areas where obviously guys tend to dominate just by numbers, if not, not necessarily domination, but just by the number of guys involved. I would be really interested to know what issues are most important, do you think, for females in the digital and the blockchain industry, and how can guys, males, facilitate that? Because I believe that there are a lot of people in this environment that would, male people who would really like to see diversity, as you say, across the sexes. That's it, my question.
Thank you for that question, Juliana, or anybody want to chime in?
I'll chime in. I think turning up here, Carl, is step one, and building relationships long term, and being prepared to be in that relationship and deal with everything that it brings is the way that you can help women in tech. Our interests are as broad as your interests are, right? And we're as diverse and as complex as everybody else. You can't define us by any one thing, right? So just turning up here, right, is a good start. You know, Maria's got projects that she's working on. I know Juliana has a started working on what's already happening. We don't need you to help us start something. We usually need you to help us grow something, and that's certainly the case for the startups that I'm involved in here in New Zealand, and this as well, right? So you want to help Catalyst Women, I don't know, start a stake pool for Catalyst Women. You know, with some of the talent that's in the room, we could start one of those very easily by the end of the week, with a little bit of help, right? So what's already happening, I think that's the way to go, rather than try and find a niche. The niche is a relationship.
No, absolutely, and I think this otherness is the wrong way to go. As you say, it's all about just being human beings. It was just that as we're in a room that's titled feminine, you know, the female direction, I thought I'd ask that particular question. What I always find difficult about these breakout rooms is that the host does get a transcript and all of the chat, but it's reconnecting with you guys afterwards. So what is the best point of contact to be able to continue the thing on in the real world?
That's a good question. I'm taking that note down. So we have started meeting the ladies. There's a group of us ladies, and if there's anybody on here that would like to be involved, we meet on Thursdays to talk about how to put some of these things that we talk about in these rooms in action. And so one of the things that we are working on right now currently is like a resource hub. And I think that having a point of, you know what I mean, like a link or contact me here section on that is a great suggestion. And Carl, never feel your question was valid, and I'm glad that you asked the question. So the questions are always welcome, you know. So thank you for asking in the first place. Right now, if we have, let's see, like some of us have put our names out here, but Juliana and I could put our emails in the chat right now, and we can make sure that once we have the hub up, you know, that you can be on a list of people who will get that notification right away.
That's super. I'm copy and pasting. And one of the main things that I'm involved in as well is actually creating hubs around the world, multilingual hubs for Cardano. And I would dearly like to contribute any way I can for females all around the world in 62 languages, and to your efforts as well. So it's all about a matrix, isn't it? Everybody feeding into everybody else. So anyway, thanks for including us mere males.
No.
We will do our best. We really will.
You're gonna love this presentation then.
We work better together, right? Darling, or Joe, you had something to say before Darlington, or go ahead, Darlington.
If Joe, okay. So if Alex, if you wanted to add to the conversation, you can go, because mine's kind of off topic. Alexander.
All right. Yeah. I was wondering if there was a kind of like, from my experience with people getting into, into Cardano on the full technical path, like I'm wondering, because there's a lot of Twitter spaces that give different, that give kind of like a different vibe, and it's like I see it as a kind of a bubble. It's a great way to get in touch with the Cardano experience, but it's definitely a bubble. So I was wondering if there was something more along the lines of like LinkedIn. Like I'm thinking of like young professionals that want to join and in a space, go the suit and tie route and kind of find themselves on LinkedIn, and or like obviously even Facebook, but we know that's trash. So it is Cardano women thinking about also bridging the gap into more of a LinkedIn structure. People share articles. I'm sure they'd share Medium posts, and more business-minded oriented people who actually have that structure in mind, not in creation, but in mind.
Yeah, actually, and I don't know, Juliana or any other woman on here have any comment on this, but for me personally, I'm already thinking that route. Like for the last month, I've met in the back of my mind, I'm like, LinkedIn is the next big thing that needs to be tackled from, this aspect and for myself. So I think that that's a great ad for our little hub as well, and our group to talk about tomorrow when we do our out of Catalyst Women's meeting. So that's something that I'll add to the agenda. Thanks for that that suggestion, Alexander.
Yeah, it says I have my hand up, but I don't have any more questions, so ignore it if you can. I'm figuring.
All right, thank you. All right, Darlington, go ahead.
I'm putting together a proposal for Cardano specific news type content. If you're new to my face, I run lighternation.com, and so far we focused on onboarding and education, really explaining the tech and different pieces of Cardano. And we do that in English, Spanish, and Swahili, and we do it in written and audio formats. But we haven't been able to keep up with the newsy stuff. We do try to cover that and try to give some context about, the new what the news is talking about, or like link it back to some foundational understanding about Cardano. And so back to the proposal thing, putting together a proposal to cover about like 15 or so news specific content, investigative type journalism, to try to beef up that news segment of that site. So if anybody is interested and want to help write that proposal and like sort of become a core contributor to the Lido team, or maybe even come on as one of the founders, there's 3 of us so far, Stephanie, Dirk, and myself. Please hit me up. I'll put my email in the chat. My Twitter, Lido Nation, is open. So that would be great. And you will be supported by obviously myself on the tech side, the Swahili translation team in Kenya, Stephanie, she speaks Spanish, so you'll be supported with translating your content into Spanish. And if you're not if you're a Spanish speaker, you can also take the role, because we can do the translation to English and Swahili if you write the original content in Spanish. So that's my proposal. Thanks for letting me share that.
Yeah, and you're also, I heard you say I think it was last night, that you are looking to hire somebody for that news, like that long term. So if somebody's interested in participating and putting together that proposal, possibly they could be somebody that could have long-term employment as that as well.
Yeah, that's the idea. We're really looking for someone to come on as like one of the Lido like founders. We're still exploring what Lido Nation is gonna be and what direction we're gonna go. So if you have that journalism type itch and want to join this educational arm type team, that would be, it would be a good fit for you. Thanks, Dana.
Okay, thank you. I see Maria's hand up.
I have to go, but I see in different rooms that people have the desire to put up a stake pool. If you ever want to ask me any questions about the up and downs to run one, I'll be happy to meet any of you to talk about it. I just have to go. Thank you very much
Oh,
for
no
this
worries.
room. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yes, we did a really nice SPO interview last week. So we'll probably be doing one again. We'll get it into the rotation and definitely would like to speak to you about that.
That's great. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Maria. If anybody is, so if nobody else has any other projects they'd like to share, Audrey, I haven't seen you before. Audrey, I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you. Okay, there you go.
I could share my project if there's time.
Yeah, love to hear it.
Perfect. So I'm joining you from New Zealand. My name's Audrey. I'm a clinician. And I got introduced to Cardano through my partner, who is like a Cardano ultra fan or a stan, I suppose. And so at first I kind of didn't bite. I think I was kind of very narrow-minded, focusing on my health career. And then it wasn't until I took a step back and was just like, actually, this has really good utility for health. What am I doing? Why not explore it? And spending more time in it, it really got me excited, and I'm starting to get the same buzz. You know, it's quite infectious, and I'm sure lots of people have had quite a similar journey to myself. We are currently in the process of creating an NFT project, and I've actually submitted a proposal to the Miscellaneous Challenge. Basically, our NFT is called Mushroom Mob, which is a fun and quirky pixelated type artwork. But really it's got a deep message. We chose mushrooms as a representation of fungi, but as a parallel to the blockchain, thinking about, you know, the decentralized network, which is how fungi essentially thrive. But really drawing on my healthcare background, we are trying to champion mental health, but also overall well-being through these NFTs, and hopefully use it as a token to increase access to care. Because personally in my spheres of work, I find that access, especially equity to access, is a real big issue. And personally, this is where I think that blockchain can really help to address these issues head on. So we're really excited about our project. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love to connect. And we've also got our proposal in the Miscellaneous Challenge that you can also check out. And I'd love to hear your feedback. This is the first time that I've done a proposal like this, so all feedback is welcome. And I'd love to continue being part of these spaces and learn more from you guys, or you women, I should say. So thank you.
Amazing, thank you. If you want to drop a link to your proposal in the chat so that we can take a look at it, that would be great. And then if you also want to be involved in any of the meetings that we're having outside of Catalyst, like drop your email down or send a personal DM to either Juliana or I, and we'll put you in the invite. And then maybe, you know, because there's a section part of our meeting that we're hoping to implement where we kind of review each other's proposals. Oh, did I rug for a second? Okay,
No,
I'm
you're
good.
here. That's good,
So,
thank
yeah.
you.
Cool. Thanks. It was great to hear about your project. Anybody else have a project they want to share? I can share mine really quick before we introduce Jo. But so many of you, I talk about my project so much on Twitter, but I am a part of the indie filmmaking team, and we're making a film about a Native American Marine suffering with PTSD, a young Marine who goes on a cross-country road trip with his crypto entrepreneur best friend in a 1974 Plymouth Barracuda. And on the road, they kind of discover the land and discover themselves. The Marine rediscovers his inner warrior and also a new mission worth living for because he is struggling with some suicidal thoughts. We're doing it to bring awareness to veteran mental health in the military, and then also give a voice to underrepresented people groups. My business partner his name's Shaban Mehta. He's the writer director. He's Asian Indian, and our crypto entrepreneur is Asian Indian like him. So it's basically two Indians going on a road trip, and one of them, the Marine, discovers cryptocurrency and how its use cases are actually there's real world stuff to it. It's not just about trading and speculation and crime. So that's our film. We are launching a cross-chain NFT project to help fund some of the film. We've been building our team. It'll be launched hopefully beginning of April. In addition to traditional funding that we're doing for the film, that's what we're doing right now. So I have proposals in the film. I'll be doing cross-chain. There's an onboarding segment that someone I know that Pyro or Alexander had recommended this morning that I need to look at the DApp integration, because we are doing cross-chain. There's going to be some things that are going to be created in order for all different kinds of wallets to connect to our website for the access to buy the different chain NFTs. So there's a lot of different things going on. And once I have the proposals tightened up within the next couple of days, you'll see them out there. So that's what we have going on. Lots of different things.
So I have a question about how you guys are doing the NFT kind of giveaway, I guess, because you're getting people to do cross-chain downloads of different wallets. Are you thinking, I don't know your time horizon when to complete the project, but are you thinking of doing something that's like to help other people bridge the gap, kind of like a Flint wallet, or something that has or trust that you can have give them the opportunity to have a wallet that has multiple integration in it already? Or do you want to do more native wallets? I'm just kind of curious on that.
We're looking into all the options right now. So we have a team. We had a big meeting on Friday. There was 7 people that came to the table, and from Cardano and also from the other chains, some very intelligent, smart people talking about the strategy of how we're going to go about that. So we're looking into the wallets and the capabilities now. Thank you. Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. You mentioned April. In May, towards the end of May, just after the Monaco Grand Prix, we have the Monaco Streaming Film Festival. And I wondered if you might have a show reel or a promo that we could slide into the Streaming Film Festival in Monaco towards the end of May.
I'm going to write that down. So we don't start filming until we probably won't start filming to the summer of this year. However, we could probably put something together that's like, you know, yes, that kind of tell what we're doing. So, and what's the name of the festival? The Monaco Film Festival?
Yeah, the Monaco Streaming Film Festival. Yeah, it's mcsff.com. A horrible name, but that's not my choice.
Yeah, no
it comes up in Google anyway, or you get it through me. I'll send it through to you. I've got your email address. I'll send it through to you.
Yes, great.
It's just that it would be a nice promo, you know, because it's. But the thing is, it's Monaco based, but it's all around the world in terms of streaming. So
yes, thank you so much, and I love Monaco, by the way. One of my favorite.
It's not the worst place in the world, yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you for that.
Okay.
All righty. Okay, cool. Well, now that I've done
sorry, Nin.
Go ahead. Nin?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce your name?
Nin. My name is easy. It's like Nin, like Ninja.
Nin.
Hello, ladies. I'm super excited that there's such a great community of women and men that are supporting gender diversity. And Cardano was from my co-founder, Frank, who's a huge Cardano head, who got me here. And if I knew that this is going to happen, a breakout room for women, I would have invited my co-founder, Beatrice. She's our CTO, to join as well. yeah, love what you guys are doing. Something that we're working on actually before kind of my journey going here for my last startup was at Herschel, and we were serving huge companies like Facebook, Amazon, and more diversity in their hiring, not just for gender, but ethnicity, disability, veteran status, all of that. But even working in the traditional tech companies, I realized that diversity is just a checkbox a lot of time, right? Companies just check a box and then they claim, okay, we are focusing on diversity, but there's not a ton of founders that truly focus on diversity, and that's why I created Snapbilia, my current company, and our mission is to guarantee a fair opportunity for all, right? Regardless if you're born poor or rich, male or female, or something else, right? Or where you're from, to be able to increase the access to opportunities. And so the two proposals that I'm working on, and instead of just checking a box, right, it revolves around number one, funding, and number two, like you guys mentioned, stake operated pools for women. Not quite there, right? But we're doing like quadratic funding from anyone to be able to fund open source projects. And I hope to, and because Snapbilia focuses on diversity, equity, and inclusion, to be able to create a separate category just to fund diversity, right? Whether it's gender or ethnic, where female VCs, investors, stake pool operators can put money towards something that they care about. The other part is finding and empowering mentor groups and creating like a mentor and mentee marketplace. And I know, Juliana, that's something you're working on. Check out the website. And I think Tommy was, my hope is that, through our journey of finding out why there's not that many, women in tech, especially in leadership, right? We found out that assessments and the traditional hiring methods, they tend to disqualify women 50% more often, especially in the first 2 or 3 hiring stages. And so we're creating something new. It involves mentors and creating teams. Not as much in the education space itself. It's more in the space of helping teams and women get real work experience, because you need experience to get experience. You need opportunity to to build your resume. So
thank you for sharing. Yeah, if you want to drop a link down to your if you have a website or whatever you're working on, and then you and Juliana has her email in the chat, definitely connect.
Yeah, yes, thank you. That's very nice. Maybe I can jump here because we also have we will be also starting the proposals for Fund 8. So thanks for checking our website. I hope the information that you found there is useful. So what we are doing is women mentorship, but what we actually is doing is building trusted relationships, and these are going to be our proposal. So and we are planning to build a DAO around this concept, because building trusted relationships in this world is extremely important. It is undervalued, and we have basically built the structure. So we are about to start this proposal. So yeah, we will share
awesome.
more.
Yeah, we'd love to collaborate.
Cool.
Yeah, and
All
it's
right.
very. I want to just say to invite your co-founder because she's CTO, and it will be very interesting. I'm CTO to two companies right now, and it's a huge challenge.
Cool. That's what we're doing here. Connecting and collaborating. I love it. Awesome. Thanks for coming up and speaking, Nin. Welcome to the room. Thanks for your input. All right. Now for the main event, we have Jo, who is going to be speaking a little bit on a spicy topic about possibly considering a Catalyst Constitution. It's Catalyst, right? Catalyst Constitution, or is it in general Cardano Constitution? Or it could be anything. Yes. So Jo has prepared some things and we're so excited. So I'm gonna give the room over to Jo to help us start this conversation. Welcome, Jo. Tell a little bit about yourself and
Sure. So I'm also in New Zealand. There's a Kiwi cohort here of Cardonians growing by the day, it seems, which is really exciting. I'm originally from the UK. I've spent time in Australia, and there I met my lovely man who is tangata whenua here in New Zealand, which means that he is a Māori man and Indigenous to New Zealand. And I was welcomed into the family and the tribe here in 1994. So it's been part of my world. My children are Māori, and we have the very great privilege to live in this amazing country. The picture behind me is real. It's not a film set. That's my puppy under the tree, and it really is magical. The space that we live in and look after here in New Zealand. I've been in tech, I've been in publishing, I've worked for the big guys like Murdoch, I've worked for tiny little local newspapers, I've transitioned people from traditional media to tech, and for the last 8 years I've been running an entrepreneurship centre here in New Zealand that's community-led, community-focused, community facilitated, and we've done it all without tech, more or less. A few open source pieces of software in the background, running our email and looking after our CRM and trying to connect people, but essentially it's been P2P the whole way through, and we've been or my thing, because my trade is really as a designer and a system designer at the core, has been to find the systems and the technologies that can help us do what we do already really well, connecting P2P on another level digitally. So being involved with Cardano and with Project Catalyst is like very, very exciting, extremely exciting, because we have the opportunity to take some of the good lessons that we've learned 8 years over the 8 years, literally working P2P, and the traditions and the rituals and all of the things that we do just human to human, and see how they actually translate online, or do they? And hence the topic of conversation here. So I'll share my screen. This is not like a presentation. I mean, it looks cool, I think, because I'm a designer, but it is literally just asking questions more than anything else. When we've met, Project Catalyst women have come together, we have talked about why we're here, what we're doing here, and there's been a lot of conversations about IOG wanting to hand over the keys to the castle, kind of, to the community of Project Catalyst. So management of the treasury, governance, the treasury has set up. But one of the things that's kind of near and dear to the heart of particularly Māori in New Zealand is this question of a constitution, and you'll see why as we go through the the presentation, but it's possibly an important part of infrastructure that the community maybe needs to start thinking about, so that we can come together as a cohesive group and have something to do with governance that is a kind of a founding document. So I'll run through. This first slide is definitely a bit of a provocation. Here's a quote from the first African recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And he talks about how important women were in the transition, particularly in South Africa. And so this is, I think, a good subject for Catalyst women to kind of start, you know, circulating and doing what women do, which is being in lots of groups and in lots of areas, and start talking about this subject. Do we need a constitution? And who knows, we might prove the president right and actually achieve freedom in our lifetime. Wouldn't that be amazing? So what is a constitution? I'm going to share these slides so that everybody can click on all of these links. It's a little bit of research from a whole load of stuff that I've got. There's some very basic ones, the WikiHow and the Wikipedia at the top. A document of how an organization runs its affairs, and it can be a constitution for anything. I don't know, if you run businesses, you've probably got a business constitution, and all the way through to countries, nation states, United Nations, etc. Have constitutions. The bottom one is a description of a constitution from the department of our Prime Minister and Cabinet in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And it's kind of an interesting one to read. It's about public power, the power of the state, etc. While all constitutions have general characteristics, each one is affected by the national character of the state it serves, is an interesting comment, and you'll see why in a minute. Next question is, do we want a constitution? It's certainly helped in South Africa. It was a major project. It brought the country together. As you can see, it's a general agreement and represents the collective wisdom of the South African people. Do you think that Project Catalyst's 10,000, 50,000, the numbers vary every time I hear, but people could agree on a constitution? Is that something that we maybe want to do? The other quote down the bottom is from a book that I highly recommend everybody reads, which is Long Walk to Freedom, where Mr. Mandela says, governments derive their authority and legitimacy from the consent of the governed. If we're going to set up these governance circles to manage our treasury, how do we consent for them to keep running those things long term? What is our process to change that? How do we keep them on track? A constitutional document sometimes helps with some of that. It's a massive thing to start talking about, and it's certainly a major project. My namesake in the UK, Jo Cox, she was a young politician from Yorkshire, and she was actually, very sadly, she was murdered not long after becoming an MP. But one quote from her, which I think resonates across everything, is, we have more in common than that which divides us. And I think that's the thing. If we hang on to that, then there is an opportunity to start having a conversation about values and principles for Cardano and actually what we want to achieve. Here's a couple of links. Won't read through all of this, but these are internet or digital realm constitutions. There's a DAO one at the bottom, which is an interesting one to look at. And that community have created a community covenant that essentially everybody kind of signs up to when you start in that DAO. And there's an early one here. It was really interesting. I found this a little while ago in 1998, when they first started organizing for all of the DNS. ICANN essentially organized all the domain names. The media, traditional media, in 1998, so not long after kind of the internet made it onto the scene, started talking about ICANN as a new government for the internet. Kind of interesting, right? What the constitution of ICANN is, I'll let you go and find that out. Oh. So what's an alternative to a constitution? If we don't have a constitution, what do we have? How do we hold people to account, make sure our treasury is being managed the way that we want it to be managed? Another really interesting guy to look into and read some of his posts on Medium is Simon Wardley. It's a system that Simon has devised, having been a CEO of a tech company, and going, how do you actually look into the future? And he's done a lot of work on actually defining and describing various different processes, how to find a map and a compass and forge your way into the future. But that he says in his work that you know, things like constitutions become important, because after all, the tech is just the tech, it's a tool. It's about the people and what we're doing that's important. So finding mindshare is a very significant part of a resilient company, so that people are moving in the same direction. The other thing that we can do is look at the 201 constitutions that are already out there. So this is a great site. It's the Constitute Project out of the US. Literally, you can compare clauses. You can look at the research. We've got lots of techies, you know, it's the core of the Cardano ecosystem. We could do an amazing analysis of what's worked, what hasn't worked, compare it to economic stats even. If we took all of the constitutions of the world, we've got enough technology available to us that we could do a really exciting, globally significant project around constitutions if we chose to, if it's worth looking at. So that's kind of it. I want to go back just a couple of slides to this one that I skipped over, because it is a New Zealand specific story. So you remember me reading out the little quote about what the public, the Prime Minister and